just sharing a personal story, I had a little to get started, but it wasn't enough. You know, I retired, I had a military retirement pay, had stacked up a little cash, started the business. Tell you what, it was gone pretty quick, and there wasn't a lot of money coming in. And I had 2 kids in college at Colgate, and you know, I think it was 50 something, and went up to 60, and I'm like, you know what? I'm seeing fumes. That's about it in that account right now. I don't know what we're going to do, and so, you know, if you think about it, I had already had a couple of accomplishments in my life. I worked for General Schwarzkopf, worked directly for the chairman and Joint Chiefs of Staff. Had, you know, worked in state government, and you know, I did exactly what we all do when we run into problems. We go to family. So here's my 79-year-old father, 80-year-old father. My mother had already get down with Alzheimer's disease in the house, and I'm like, Dad, how you doing? He goes, I'm doing all right. How about you? I'm like, okay, I guess. He goes, what's going on? He said, a little bit of a problem. He goes, what's that? I said, He said, what's this going to cost me? And, you know, I mean, they know. Parents know. They can see it. I don't care how, you know, it's like my mother told me, she goes, you know what? You may be a general, but not in this house. Go get the milk. So just to put this in perspective, he goes, what's this going to cost me? And it was like the biggest delight of his life. You know, here he is, you know, bailing me out again. I mean, he thought those days were long over, I guess. I'm like, well, I need $5,000. He says, is that enough? I'm like, yeah, 5 will do it. I got it for 5,000. He said, all right. Goes in and comes out, got his little checkbook, writes the check out. Boom, hands it over to me. Walking in. I'm like, Dad, I'll see you. He goes, well, where are you going? I'm like, I'm heading to the bank. I got to pay this mortgage. Boom, gone. True story. God's my witness. Running out the door, immediately go pay the mortgage. You know, that's after everything I had done. So it's out there. The capital does matter. Make sure you got a plan for it, because it does go quick. Believers. Get people on your team who believe in you and what you are doing. Belief creates desire, and that is a combat multiplier. All right. With me, again, going back to family, I had a tremendous person by my side that, in addition to my spouse, my sister, she was a fighter. She was tough, and she just believed in me. She believed in what we do. And you know what? She didn't come from my space. And if you look at our core values right now, diversity is something we put into it 16 years ago, because we got to look different. We got to think different. Because if we're all looking and thinking the same, we're going to go down. That blind spot's going to nail it. So we got to have different. She worked at the Wildwood School for Children. She was a director there. And she worked with kids. And she knew about learning. And she knew about people. And she was a fighter. And so we built this little organization in the wee hours of the evening at 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock. Because I built this when I was still serving. And I'll tell you how I got to it in a minute. But she was always right there. Saying, hey, what are you doing? Hey, I'm trying to reach you. Let's go. Wow, it's 11 o'clock. She goes, hey, no, let's go. I need to hear about this. Tell me about that. How did they go? Bam, bam. I cannot overemphasize that. You've got to have people that are believers. Believe in what you do and why you do it. The why matters. Come back to that later. Another obstacle, clients. Starting a business. You know, you don't have them. You don't have customers. You got to get one. Get one and bring it home. When I think about as a matter of fact, my very first thing was right here at the Desmond. We ran an open conference, and we charged $95 for people to come in and hear some military guy talk about leadership. My very first contract was $1,000. And I was glad to have it. I mean, I've done it for 10, 5, nothing. But I'll tell you one thing, what I knew is, I gotta drive this home. I gotta kill this. Deliver it so that they want this again tomorrow. So get that one and bring it home. That one seed produces a sequoia. Went on to get another contract. After that, it was, again, for virtually very small amount of money, produced millions from that little tiny seed. One seed renders a sequoia. Another obstacle, free time. It will probably be scarce in the beginning. I mean, starting a business is a beast. I started this business while I was still serving. I did it from 9 o'clock at night to 1 in the morning, up at 3 doing it. You're going to spend a lot of time getting this cranking. And then, you know, chances are, I don't want to dissuade you here, but it sort of keeps on going. You know, if you're running your own business, I mean, it's so into it. It's gonna, and you gotta keep an eye on it because you've got another piece of life that's around you, your family. Keep an eye on it. It's an obstacle. Don't let it take you down, but it is something that is gonna be elusive to you. Life. If it's not if, it's when life will get in the way. I was running the business probably 4 or 5 years at this point. I took one step out of bed, 2 discs bulged out of my neck, boom. Folks, I can tell you, in 25 years, 1.5 hands maybe I missed from work. When this thing popped, I went down, and you know, I wasn't so tough anymore. That pinched nerve, everything shut down the whole right arm on my back for a long time. Try to work through, could barely walk. That year, my net, $1,000. Again, a couple kids in Colgate. It's out there. It was so bad. It was funny. You know, when you need medication, you need it, and the doctor prescribed this hydrocodone, right? We've all heard about it. And believe me, I was glad I had it at the time. But I was getting better, coming off it. We just started to go to a new client and showed up there, and my son drove me to it. I'll never forget it. And I went in there, and I know a little bit about the business at that point, right? I started and founded it and been running it for 4 or 5 years. Went in there and talked to the folks about it, and I really couldn't even form the words. I came out, my son Brian was there, he goes, "Dad, how'd it go?" I said, "Let me tell you, this contract will not be ours." I said, I couldn't even talk. And that day, I said, "I'm off this stuff. I can't do it. I'll take the pain," because I just couldn't function. But it's out there. It's going to bump into it. It was a tough year. We got it through it. So when it comes, know it's life knocking on your door. You can push through it. It'll be fine. Just stick with it. Figure out a way to get by. Belief. You got to believe. Burn the boats. Burn the boats. You may have heard about the Indian chief that attacked the island. And when he showed up, he said, "Burn the boats, because there's only one way out of here, and that's victory. Or we're going down. We're not running. Burn the boats." That's the kind of commitment that you need to succeed. There's no turning back. All right? Make this happen. Your foundation gave you that trait. Bring it into play. Okay. All right, so that's a few thoughts on what obstacles you may face out there. Let me talk to you a little bit about my personal story. Now, when I talked to the organizers here, the VETCON folks, they said, "Hey, offer a couple success stories. Talk a little, let people know what happened." You know, normally I'd never get up here and say, "Oh, let me tell you about me." But I am going to share a little bit of this with you. Just maybe it will be of some use to you. General Schwarzkopf, the one thing that maybe one of the greatest things that he taught me was to think, to spend time thinking. I was in his think tank, and he always said, I want you to think with me, and I want you to help me get inside the decision cycle of tomorrow, and take the issues of today and make them the opportunities of tomorrow. Now, I listened to, I think it was this group right here, the aircraft carrier. I landed on an aircraft carrier with Schwarzkopf. I know what goes on in that flight deck, okay? We were in the COD. When we were just me and Schwarzkopf in the back, me and the bear landed on that COD, stopping. He was the sink at that time, so, you know, they piped him aboard. It was the real deal, man. Everybody was standing tall. But I know that and the flight deck, and we were down doing night carrier quals. That's when these guys are qualifying at night on an aircraft carrier, and he really loved it. But the one thing, when you're on a ship like that, they want to show you a lot of things, and we were getting a tour of the ship, and Schwarzkopf turned to me at one point, he goes, Mark, get over here. He goes, I don't want to see another boiler. Get me up on the deck. We were down in the bowels, and he's a big guy, and the steps are like that. So anyways, he taught me to think. And so I was 45 at the time, and I did some, and I was like, you know, Martin, what are you going to do with the next 45 years of your life? I'm figuring I'm going to get to 90 anyways, right? So I'm like, okay. So I started this process of thinking, and I came up with the 5 things that matter to me in my future. The first one was flexibility. It's the one thing I didn't have. I had a 11-year-old and a 13-year-old at that point, and I missed so many. I thought about this last night. There's so many things I missed early in their lives. You know, this up at 3:45 in the morning and 11 o'clock at night returns, and you know, there was a period of time at the 7-year mark. My wife told me, she said, "Look, I can tell you something. You are not living up to your end of the bargain here. You are missing in action. You are a tenant in this place. We never even see you, and that's got to change. It matters to me and what I want to change." So I said, the first thing I got to find is some flexibility. I got to have the ability to be present for duty, to be there at the games, to be there at the academic events, just to be present for dinner. So, and as you guys know, I mean, your time is not your own, and it is a big magnet and pulls you all over the place. So flexibility. Second, values. I said, whatever I'm doing in the future, I got to be living in accordance with the values that I got from my parents, the values I got from the military. So that matters, because if the values are off, it's going to be ugly, and I'll never make it. 3, I wanted to tap into whatever natural talents I had. You guys got to think about this too. What is it that you were born with on this earth to do? What is it that you are really great at? When I thought about that, I mean, there's plenty of people smarter than me, better than me, and a lot of better tacticians, strategists, you name it, for sure. The one thing I was able to do was to bring out the best in people and to develop high-functioning teams. And I said, you know, I think it's something around that. So this had to do with why I started this business. 4th, I wanted to create some financial security. I mean, I wasn't living hand to mouth, but I wanted to be able to put my kids through the college of their choice. I wanted to have enough to do that and still maintain, you know, a decent lifestyle. So I wanted to, you know, create a little bit of financial security there. And then lastly, I want to make a difference in the world. Remember this one. And this right here, this team right here looked at doing this. I mean, this is a great video, guys. I love it. Really connected with it. Make a difference in the world. So now I look back, 16 years later, I can tell you every one of those goals accomplished. Check mark. Now, the one that I started out with, flexibility, I got that the earliest. And right now, to be honest with you, it's elusive. It's tough. And that's why we're growing a business, because we were a victim of my own victory, I guess you'd say. But the rest of them, the values, I set them. The talents, doing the best with what I got, but it seems to be working. The finance thing, don't worry about that. And then the difference in the world. The last one was the hardest to come, but it is the biggest, by far. The biggest of all. I can tell you countless of stories of the impact we're making in the world, and I'll tell you a few later. Those are the 5 things. So that's how I built the business, and I offer that to you because you got to set goals. What are you out to get done? It's like during the weekend. You know, some weekends you blink and it's Monday morning. What did I do? Some, by Friday afternoon at 4, you're already moving and you've gotten so much done by Friday night, Saturday, coming back Sunday, that you're like, oh, I can't believe we did all this. The plan and the goals drove that. So, what have we gotten done in this business? We have many businesses, many businesses. We're all over the country, all over the world, that have improved business results. You know, be it production, quality, safety, innovation, sales. That's why they hire us. We look at their metrics, we help them deliver that to a higher level. We're working with leaders in 8 countries. I mean, you know, I've been in 34, but sometimes I'm on the phone simultaneously with leaders in 5 countries, right out of my office. I mean, that's pretty cool. We work with companies within the Fortune 5 right through the Fortune 500. We converted our work to Spanish, and we've helped 93 frontline supervisors improve their leadership and teamwork by 30% in Spanish. I mean, that's just a great feeling, to work into somebody else's language and help them to learn the principles of the U.S. military. I mean, it's really cool. The one thing that was funny about that, though, when we're out there talking, we see this today. I was talking about General Schwarzkopf, my son Brian said, and he goes, Dad, they don't know who you're talking about. So, and now some people, you know, we're traveling around, young people today, they don't even know who General Schwarzkopf is. I mean, yeah. Amazing. We've helped companies. We had a company in Mexico, big aerospace company. They were bleeding people like no tomorrow. We came in and started working with them. They're 4th in the country, the best place to work in the Fortune list there. Many leaders have gone on to be promoted and become CEOs, VPs, presidents, on and on. Young guys I was working with, they're running companies now. We prevented the closure of companies as a result of our effort. Plants are fixing to close, we come in and we help them. You know, so these are just, I offer this to you just because this is a byproduct of what we're doing. But when we first started it, we didn't know we were going to make this kind of impact. I mean, we were just out there to teach a couple of skills, have a little training, help people a little bit. But this now is what we see. But the greatest thing is what I'm about to tell you now. It was funny, I was talking to one of your colleagues here from VETCON, we were talking about some things. This is one more piece before I get to the great stuff. But here's how good it gets at times. I showed up to this company, this guy called me up, he said, look, can you come by the office tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, sure, what time? It was 2 o'clock. Walked in, and he said to me, before we get started, on the table over there, there's a check with your name on it. We just need to figure out how to spend it. I never even met the guy before. But that's what happens when you start doing it right. He said, my good friend, who's my golfing partner down at Hilton Head with me, said, you know, the best thing that happened to this company. He said, that's good enough for me. I wrote you a check. How do we spend it? So that's what's out there for you. Now, here's where it gets good. The greatest thing about my business today is the impact that we're making on the world. Think about that. It is so important. It's why you're doing what you're doing. There's something greater than just generating that revenue. You know, you got to have that in there, right? I mean, it's an important part. You want to create something for your family, take care of them, yourselves, those kind of things. You've earned it. And God knows we didn't make a lot of money running around in the sand, right? Or wherever we came from. A couple stories on that account. Started working with these leaders, and one of the things that I realized is, wow, leaders touch so many people. I mean, you got a plant manager, VP, he's got 1,700 people underneath him, 35 leaders. They're touching a lot of people. And one of the things that we talk about in our business, in our offsites, is what we're really doing and the impact that we're making on the world. Something I always say is, you know, it's really hard to catch yesterday, but we can get in front of tomorrow. And when you think about what happens with men and women when they come to work and what happens in that workplace, it gives you a feel for how important what it is that you're doing is. You gotta a mother or father coming in, and they're struggling, and they're trying to make it, but at the end of the day, they go home discouraged, defeated, demoralized, angry, and then they gotta meet 2 or 3 teenagers whose job it is to just be snotty, to be self-focused, and to dish out everything that they got pent up in them to you. That's their job. Okay? My sister told me, she goes, the Lord created teenagers so that when it was time for them to go, you didn't feel bad about it. So you think about their mom and dad going home, and what happens? I'm not feeling great about who I am as a result of everything that happened. Oh, by the way, my boss told me that, my people told me that, my peers tell me that, and I'm not getting it done. And, you know, I'm really not liking the guy I'm looking at in the mirror. But then I gotta go home and face the kids, and they start doing their thing, and then, you know what? Knock it off! Get out there! You know, all the kind of things that we can do when we're not in control of our emotions. And then when that happens, spouse looks at me at times, I'm right in there too, and says, did you really have to do that? Did you really have to go there? Is this going to make it better? And then, you know, because I'm not feeling that great, then we start having our little thing, right? And then the teenager goes up to the room and does what he or she's going to do now in that room, or heads out to the street and does whatever it is that happens there. The one problem, they're not where the help is. They're where the hurt is. And they're taking that and they're going onward to a path. And if they can stay on that path and they hook up with the wrong people, it is very hard to catch them. And we are living with that. So the only way we solve for that is to get in front of it. And that's what we're doing in our business, by helping people learn how to work better together, to give of themselves, to help each other, and go home feeling a little bit better so that they can be better. And what we say to the business guys are, hey, when they dust it up at home, they're not coming back better, they're worse off. And then it's a negative reinforcing loop, which is causing people to have more problems at home, more problems in business, more problems in life. How do we get in front of it? We create better leaders, better teams, better success, better families, better world. That's what we're doing. I'm going to give you one story. Got a lot of them. I'm going to give you one. I had this guy building helicopter blades, actually for the Marine One, and in California, ceramic organization. Big, tough guy. Senior manager, production line. He's physically big personality. He was rough. And we started to talk about a lot of stuff like we're talking in here. And it had been 3 months or so into the program, and he came in one day and he said to me, I want to talk to you about something. He said, I've been listening to you now for about 3 months, and he said, I don't know what it was yesterday, but it sort of hit me and kicked in, and he said, I left work 3 o'clock yesterday, and I went to my daughter's softball game. He said, I never go to the games. He said, I actually never really saw her play. I knew she was really good. People told me that. My wife did. But he said, I never had time. And he said, I went to the game yesterday, and she came out of the dugout. I was in the on-deck circle, and we're swinging a little bit. And she happened to look up in the stands, and she saw me. And she dropped the bat, and she went to the screen and put her hands up. And he said, I went there too. We locked hands. And he said, we both started crying at that point. And he said, I told myself that from that day on, I'm not missing any more games. And to this day, this was 10 years ago, every year, I get a little note from him, a little email. Thank you. That's all it says. Thank you. So, time is moving on. It's fleeting. And in our businesses, we can make an impact. We figure we touch 10,000 people a year in our business. That's making a difference. And my son, Brian, who works in our company, was reading an article by this guy, Jim Collins, who wrote a book, Good to Great, and he said that, or it was actually an interview, or maybe it was an article, I don't know, but it said, they asked Collins, says, how do you know when you have a great company? And Collins responded by saying, if you were to disappear tomorrow, would anybody know? Or would anybody care? And he said, Dad, what do you think about us? And I said, I think they would. He said, I do too. I said, pretty good feeling, huh? And he said, we just kept on driving. Nobody said a word for about 10 minutes. Think about that. Make sure you know why you're here and the impact you're making in the world. It's very important to your success path. Okay, some recommendations. Move out. Start moving. This is a movement to contact for you combat arms guys here. You don't know where the enemy is. You got to go find them. Go hunt them down. Okay? Don't wait in a defensive position for it to come to you. Go after it. Go get it. Don't fall into analysis paralysis. You know, General Powell used to say all the time, a good plan delivered on time, better than a great plan delivered late. Don't be trying to get that great plan, because you know what? The enemy's going to surround you and it's going to be over. He'll own the initiative. Your competition's out there. These ideas, someone else is thinking too. All right? Get the idea, make it up a little bit, go after it. Start small and make it great. All right? You don't have to have the biggest contract. You don't have to have tons of customers or clients. Get one. Make it work. Deliver it. Bring it home. All right? As I said, our first gig was real small, but at the end of that thing, it just blossomed. Get one. Get one. Let them ride in the car. I mean, I drove the old beat-up bombs for years, and one day I said, I think I want to get a nice car. We never had good cars. Beat up. My dad was buying Ramblers. Everybody else got a Ford LTD wagon. We had this old beat-up Rambler. But anyways, I wanted to get this BMW. I went to the BMW dealer over here in Keynote. He said to me, take a ride in the car. Take it home. We'll show you what. Take it out of the parking lot? Are you coming with me? He goes, no, I trust you. Take it home. And I'm driving this thing up the Northland. I'm like, Martin, there's no way this car ain't gonna be yours by the end of this trip, baby. I mean, you earned this thing, huh? I said, yeah. I said, Joanne, what do you think about this? She goes, you really want this? I said, we're getting this. Is that all right? She goes, I think so. Yeah, okay, go ahead. But let them ride in the car. I always say about our business, we're a Porsche engine inside a Volkswagen body. Small little company, but man, there's a ton of experience in there. Ton. And in my business, when you're talking to CEOs and presidents, they're saying to themselves, do you know more about this than I do? And only if they think the answer is yes, will they hire us. Because these guys are very successful, like you guys are going to be, and so you gotta influence that. All right, it's not about the contract or the sale. It's about the results. All right? I mean, think what's the end state when this is all done? How good are they going to feel? How good is this going to be for them when it's done? That's got to be it. For us, I put 100% guarantee into the business. I put it's on the line. I said, if you're not satisfied, I don't care how big the check is, and you call it, it's in writing, I'll give you the money back. I said, everything? I said, 100%. You know why? Because I'm going to work really hard to make sure that you are really happy with what you're getting. And if I can't do it, the only thing left is to give you your money back. Because I don't want you walking out and saying, this guy Martin, you know what? He doesn't know his stuff. We didn't get anything from it. I said, you're going to get something, and I guarantee it. So, deliver the results. Pricing, it's always an interesting thing. When I started, people told me, they said, here's what you need to charge with your capacity. I threw that out there. You know what I got? Zip. They're like, I'm paying you that kind of money? I said, And I go back to my mentors, they said, that's what you're worth. So I sat on that for a while. You know what I said to myself? 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. Okay? I cut it in half. Guess what happened? Cha-ching. It's like, that works, let's go. And again, onward, the rest is history. I mean, you know, once you prove yourself, don't worry about what you're initially charging. I mean, you know, there's a lot of philosophies on that, but just get something and deliver on it. Our resales are huge. I mean, when a company gets in and they ride in that car, they never want to get out of it. We help them get out of it because it's our job to, but they really like what they got. Relationships are primary. Everything else is a derivative. Build the relationships. We have relationships with our clients. They call me on Thanksgiving Day, Christmas, middle of the night. I don't always take the calls, depending on what's going on, but they know I'm there for them and I care. Build that relationship. The rest will take care of itself. Make sure you love what you're doing. I can tell you, I love what I'm doing. The people that are doing it love it. We had a president of a company come to us and said, I talked to my wife years ago, or months ago or something like that, and I'm talking to you now. He said, every time Bill Mark comes in, I feel better about what I'm doing and so does everybody else. And she said, oh, that's cool. He said, how would it be to have a job like that? She said, you ever ask him about maybe working with him? She said, I never really thought about that. Guy retired, ran 5 companies, now with Berkshire Hathaway, working for us now. And he said, I'm coming real cheap. I just want to do something good. I'm like, you got it. Don't get discouraged. Setbacks are going to happen. Keep driving on, keep fighting. It takes a team. Make sure you're not by yourself. The self-talk will kill you. All right? If you ever been a military guy's been in isolation or been through some difficult training, U.S. Army Ranger School for the Rangers in here, that's why they hook you up with a Ranger buddy. Because you quit on yourself faster than you quit on your buddy, right? Make sure you got somebody beside you. It's like working out. You don't have a workout partner, you're quitting on that. I don't feel like it today. Guy comes in and says, hey, let's go. Hey, come on, let's go. Grab the bag. Takes a team. And finally, establish the values, teach them to others, and live by them. All right? It's your foundation, it's the glue, it's your rudder, it's true north. They will safeguard you, and they will enable you. All right, final and concluding thoughts. You are amongst an elite group of Americans that have served this nation. You are immensely talented. You are hardened, and you are prepared to take on any task or mission that you set your mind to accomplishing. There is tremendous respect and support for you. And I came back from the Gulf War with a command sergeant major who had returned from Vietnam on 3 tours in the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment. And he came back, and I looked at him in the eye. We stopped at Dover, and people came in and said to us, you got to get off this plane because there's 200 people out there waiting to say thank you. We got off. Sat down to him, we were flying to Texas, and I looked at him, I said, Sergeant Major, you all right? He said, I finally got that monkey off my back. That's not the world today here in America. People appreciate you, they respect you, and they're here to support you, okay? Tremendous support for you. You have faced far greater challenges, adversity, and obstacle than that which lies before you today. You can do this. Chase all doubt from your mind and envision the victory. Smell it and let it invigorate you. You are in charge of your destiny. The future is in your hands. Transition to the offense and go after this like you were attacking the enemy. With that as your mental framework, your instincts will kick in and you will fight for your business as you have fought for your country. Fight as you have been trained. And with that, you will prevail, and victory in business will be yours. Good luck, and thank you again for your service to this nation.